Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, students and lecturers from the University of Civil Engineering. On behalf of the organizing committee, I would like to send our warm welcome to you to our meeting today. This national meeting of the CALOHEA project in Vietnam. The project will be conducted in English, but for this introduction only, I would like to ask for our international guests to excuse me for doing the introduction twice, once in English and once in Vietnamese. Kính thưa các quý đại biểu, các quý các bạn sinh viên như là các giảng viên của trường Đại học Xây dựng Hà Nội, thay mặt cho ban tổ chức, lời đầu tiên tôi xin phép được gửi lời chào trân trọng nhất và lời cảm ơn đến các quý vị như là các bạn sinh viên đến với lại cả cái hội thảo quốc gia của dự án CALOHEA ngày hôm nay. Hội thảo thì sẽ được tiến hành bằng tiếng Anh, bởi vì chúng ta sẽ có các vị khách quốc tế đến từ châu Âu cũng như là từ rất là nhiều các quốc gia Đông Nam Á. Tuy nhiên là riêng cái phần chào mừng ở đầu này thì tôi sẽ làm song ngữ bằng cả tiếng Anh và tiếng Việt để các bạn sinh viên có thể nắm được một số các cái nội dung của hội thảo. The CALOHEA project for capacity building, we have the national meeting. This national meeting is the 7th national meeting among all the Southeast Asian partners. And the topic of this meeting will be implementing CALOHEA recognition mechanisms for more effective and holistic learning outcomes in Vietnam's higher education. Đây là một trong số các cái hội thảo trong chuỗi các hội thảo quốc gia của dự án CALOHEA, và chủ đề của hội thảo ngày hôm nay là triển khai các cơ chế nhận diện của dự án CALOHEA trong công tiến đánh giá toàn diện hơn theo chuẩn đầu ra trong lớp đại học của Việt Nam. The objectives of the program is to present a general overview and the benefits of the CALOHEA project and its three recognition mechanisms: competency, workload, and authentic assessment to the public. Một trong số những mục tiêu quan trọng của hội thảo quốc gia này đó là nâng cao được nhận thức cũng như là quảng bá được hình ảnh như là những lợi ích của dự án CALOHEA, cũng như là ba cơ chế nhận diện được thiết lập đề xuất để các dự án này đến với lại cả đông đảo các giảng viên như là sinh viên của các trường đại học ở các nước Đông Nam Á và trong đó có Việt Nam. For the opening of our conference of our meeting, I would like to present our distinguished guest presenting with us today. Đầu tiên của hội thảo ngày hôm nay, tôi xin phép sẽ được giới thiệu các quý vị đại biểu đến với lại cả buổi hội thảo của ngày hôm nay. From the University of Groningen, Dr. Anna Maria van Tracht. Groningen từ trường Ba sinh ra về giáo dục đại học của trường Groningen. From the ASEAN University Network, Mr. Kon Ratanasosum, First Officer and Chief Strategy Officer of the ASEAN University Network. Hệ thống mạng lưới đại học Đông Nam Á có ông Kon Ratanasosum là bí thư nhất và trưởng phòng phát triển chiến lược của mạng lưới đại học Đông Nam Á. We are pleased to welcome Professor Dr. Nguyễn Hữu Đức, founder and principal of the University Performance Metric (UPM) rating system and UPM innovation. Người sáng lập hệ thống đánh giá UPM cho các trường đại học của Việt Nam. Associate Professor Nguyễn Đắc Trung, Director of the International Relations Office, Hanoi University of Science and Technology. Nguyễn Đắc Trung là trưởng ban tác đối ngoại trường Đại học Bách khoa Hà Nội. In this meeting, we have also the honor to welcome our guests, our partners from other ASEAN countries, from Indonesia, Malaysia, Philippines, Laos, Cambodia, Thailand. I hope I did not omit any country. So please stand up for the students and lecturers from Vietnam to welcome you. Các khách mời Việt Nam được các quốc gia 15 Á đến từ Lào, Campuchia, Indonesia, Malaysia và xin trân trọng giới thiệu các đồng nghiệp của tôi có 5 dự án đến với lại cả buổi thảo ngày hôm nay. After the formal part, we now move on to the welcoming session of the meeting. I would like to introduce from our university, representing the Hanoi University of Civil Engineering, Associate Professor Phạm Xuân Anh, Vice Rector. Đến từ nhà, đây là Phạm Xuân Anh, Phó Hiệu trưởng nhà trường. For the opening remarks, I would like to invite Associate Professor Dr. Phạm Xuân Anh, Vice Rector of Hanoi University of Civil Engineering, to deliver his opening remarks.
Dr. Anna Maria Manchester from the foreign Mr. Gona Ratanan Vasu, First Officer and Chief Secretary Officer Asia University, Nairobi, Thailand. Professor Viet, representative UN system. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Firstly, on behalf of Hanoi University of Civil Engineering, I am delighted to welcome you to the Vietnam National Meeting of CALOHEA. The topic of meeting today is implementing CALOHEA recognition for more effective and holistic learning outcome in Vietnam higher education. Ladies and gentlemen, the CALOHEA project supported by Erasmus and the program of the European Union and is coordinated by the University of Washington National. With the collaboration of UN together with the University of 7 Southeast Asian University in Cambodia, Indonesia, Laos, Malaysia, Philippines, Thailand, and Vietnam. ADC is proud to be a member university contributing effective and the main objective of the project is to contribute in the international investment of Southeast Asian higher education institute by developing serious action to recognition mechanism. This mechanism is backed to the one of the key factors in renovating creating higher education in Southeast Asia. This course does not only affect the multiple recognition of changing program or promotes the student staff mobility within ASEAN, but also towards the international scale and follow-up previous successful project in Europe and South America. Ladies and gentlemen, integration and internationalization are considered one of the topics in the higher education of Vietnam in the past decade. This first statement was presented exact 10 years ago in resolution number 29 of Vietnamese Prime Minister. The government has regretted Minister of Education and Training to formulate the strategic development of Vietnam higher education, with the vision by 2030, Vietnam will be among the top 4 countries with the best higher education system in Southeast Asia. And by 2045, Vietnam will be ranking among countries with advanced higher education system in the world. And as you see, recognize the importance of this concept in the eventual change of international in the direction of higher education. It is our vision that by 2030, LUC would become one of the top research universities in the region with frontier engineering and technology. And to make important contribution in the cost of building and peaceful and progression in Vietnam. Therefore, we have been active in participating with Minister of Education and Training in formulating the outcome for the work of architecture and engineering measure. In fact, as you see, is current leading the expert group in this activity. And if we learn that we went from CALOHEA product as the group graduated to us. On this episode, on behalf of our university, I would like to thank Minister of Education and Training for strong support to work for Vietnamese University participant in this project. To all international friends, once again, welcome you to Hanoi in this beautiful region of the year. Thank you for contribution. I wish you good health and success. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor Paternine, for your opening remarks. Next, I would like to invite Dr. Anna Maria Bandrat from the University of Groningen to deliver a speech. The stage is yours.
I feel very, very privileged to visit Vietnam. It's my second time in this beautiful country. And to be a guest of this distinct university, I have to do one university of engineering, be the host of this not very special meeting. To progress with the CALOHEA project. Again, it's a fun to see you in this crowded room and probably people online. And besides the official stuff such a project will bring, like our commitment the kind of things we will discuss later. It's also, I think, very important for people to get to know each other, to understand different categories, to understand different systems, and to learn together. And I think that's the most valuable thing in projects like this. Be able to learn together and also establish networks, because people are kind of the motor of this project running. We just discussed this morning that I've been in a second project in Southeast Asia, and that we know each other now for 7 or 8 years. And that really makes a difference. We can communicate in that sort of common language, discussing education. And that's of course a very important goal. So, thank you once more for hosting us.
So after this, Dr. Van Track, may I invite you back to the stage for the exchange of token. On behalf of the Hello University of Civil Engineering, I would like to invite the Associate Professor Phạm Xuân Anh to receive the token of appreciation for the host university. Thank you, Dr. Anna Maria. Thank you, Associate Professor Phạm Xuân Anh. Now we move on to the next part of our meeting, which is the knowledge sharing session. And to open it and to start this session, I'd like to invite our first speaker, Dr. Van Track from the University of Groningen, to present the overview of the CALOHEA project.
Thank you. So, here I am again, standing behind the stand. And I'm trying to guide you through the CALOHEA project in limited time. So it will really be an overview of the project that is going. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask, because I realize that for people who will hear this for the first time, there will be a huge amount of information and new. So don't hesitate and just ask your question. So I'm from the University of Rotterdam. So it's a traditional university in the north of the Netherlands, and we teach basically everything. So it goes up from English literature, Christian language, medicine, civil engineering, physics, mathematics, and I'm from mathematics. So I feel like sort of strange into the civil engineering surround. So forgive me if if you ask me to explain something, I will refer to my medicine background, things going on over there. Okay. So CALOHEA, where does the name come from? And as you can see, if you forget measuring and you start with comparing achievements of learning outcomes in higher education. Then you have the identification of the name, and also, oh, what's going on? Someone has something happened with this screen. Although I was not ready for this. Yes. So like the vice director already explained, it's the idea to contribute to internationalization of higher education. And we will do this through developing a series of measures that use to be able to understand and recognize each other's education. In this project, we have in the CALOHEA project, we have 13 countries, but very more important. We have 27 universities in the region of Southeast Asia, well, in the country. Because in the country together, 7 countries in the Southeast Asia region. What does it mean? Stack, the word stack means, that means subject area group. So we have different topics, civil engineering, medicine, and teacher education. To these topics, we will work on this method. This. Oh, these are good. In Vietnam, we have 4 higher education institutes already explained to you by the vice director. And we work also in the 3 subject areas. I think I will skip this because everyone knows here. So now we come to the main part of this project, the 3 key recognition. So the first one is to create and use a regional subject-specific qualification and assessment reference frame for these 3 subject areas. I'll come back to this later, just to give you an overview of these 3 mechanisms. Then, an important measure or aspect of the project also to think about the culture of student work and how can you measure. I come back to that. Well, and the third measure is recognition measure is the implementation of authentic assessment of international comparable learning outcomes in the research. Everyone, so good so far? Because these 3 things might lead, will lead with Asian network intelligence of international. Basically, what's very important and why we have these measures is to work on the concept of transparency. Mainly, programs are like a black box. When you're in the box, you know what's going on, but when you're not in the box, you haven't got through. So to be able to understand each other's program, we have to open up the box. And we are doing this step by step and using these measures. So first we put the ball, we can begin. And then we're going to open the box to this transparent. And finally, it will be a transparent box. So if you view a program like a transparent box, then you or I would be able to understand what's going on in your program or in program of another. However, we're not done yet because what's in the box, I might not be able to understand. These are different languages, my colleague Maria picked them up. So we also have to work on the common language. And to make each other understand what's going on. So that's why we are trying to explain programs using these three methods. Okay, back to recognition mechanism. The number one, where do we want students to get? What kind of profile do they have when they graduate? The second one that we're rephrasing now is how do we organize student learning, especially the time we're working on it. I will come to that and explain by using these high scores. The last thing, how do we know that what we teach them and the students that learn actually gets them where we want to. So we start with recognition number one. We have graduate profile. From this graduate profile, you develop a program. Context, if you work with the profile of the university, and we have sort of a meta profile. We will develop it. And that will lead to recognition. So how do we work on these creation of these profiles? We start with this so you can see we have this national qualification frameworks. You have subject specific frameworks or regulations. In my business, we have very strict regulations. What a medical student is supposed to be able to do at the end of the program, and the same holds true, I think, for civil engineering. So we will have this subject-specific regulations. And these national qualifications for university programs, for higher education. And that leads to a regional specific subject-specific qualification and assessment framework. So together with everything the different members of the group, the different countries bring, we create a sort of meta profile, or as we call it, the ARQL, to make it for the specific for the region, and then you can we will describe the dimensions, the dimensions, the knowledge, the skills, and the responsibilities. This is the description of the learning outcomes of the program. Still with me? Now it becomes a little bit complicated. This is very vague. So in the afternoon, there will be subject-specific presentations, and they will explain the dimensions and the knowledge, the skills, and the responsibilities for their own subject. So this was the first one. So we okay, oops. So wrapping up the first mechanism. So in the subject area use, everyone brings in their own experience, their own specific quality frameworks, subject frameworks in the countries. Together, discussions have been going on and made a sort of a what we call a profile for a civil engineer in this in Southeast Asia area. And we do that by using these knowledge, skills, and responsibility and these dimensions. Yes? So that's the first step in trying to learn and understand each other's programs and making a regional approach, subject area specific qualification framework together. So the next thing is how do we organize student learning? And then we focus on the installment of the culture of student workload measurement as a part of curriculum design. And I will discuss 3 topics here. Why do recognition and internationalization require us to make a full student workload explicit? What tools can we use to do this? And how to make estimating and monitoring full student workload part of an institutional culture. I don't know what the situation in this institution is. I can ask the students who are in back. How is student workload perceived here? Is it contact hours mainly? Or does the program also include, like we call it, independent or unseen work students have to do to learn? It depends from institution to institution and from country to country. But if you want to look into full student workload, you have to not only look at contact hours, but also to the hours students use to actually learn, to prepare. And why is this important to make this explicit? Again, this transparency, because you have different traditions. In my country, in my program, I only see the students 18 hours per week. But I'm sure they work more than 40 hours because they have a lot of independent tasks they have to do on their own and then come back to us and explain things and learn together and from each other. So in the transparency and recognition, it's very important to include this all because some students prefer learning in problem-based learning, for example. Other students prefer, or other universities or programs teach by lecturing. Sometimes you have practicals or group work or different kind of assignment. And to really understand what's going on, you have to understand and have to recognize this also from program to program. So basically what we're saying in this recognition measure, please also look at the iceberg under the water and not only the obvious thing you can view. So I can ask the students, have you ever been asked how much time you spent outside club? No? I don't think. So I already explained this to you under the surface of the sea. You can see assignment, individual, group work, independent, unseen work together, but also preparing, reading, preparing for assessments, unsupervised field work. Many things can be under the iceberg. You get the assignments, of course, on the top of the iceberg, but what the learner actually has to do is under. And it can differ from week to week. It might look like a calm sea and a calm iceberg, but it might also look like this. Because in the first week you have a lot of assignments, and then it's a little less, and then more because you have to prepare for the test. So in developing a balanced program and to be able to recognize each other's program, you should be aware of these kind of things. So what tools can we use to make this workload explicit? In this project, we explored 4 tools, and there might be different tools, and might be more valuable tools, but this is what we use. We did a desk estimation, and it was based on the hours. What's going on? Based on the hours that the teacher or the lecturer thought the students spent on learning. That's the desk estimation. So the lecturer said, well, I lecture 2 hours, I expect the students to prepare, I expect the students to do so-and-so, whatever their assignments. I think students will work on this for X hours. So that's estimation, taking into account the staff, the expectancy of the staff. Then we have the end of the semester question, in which we ask students how much time they should spend. So depending on how long, or it says here end of the semester, but it might be a different unit of teaching. So the students then estimate how long did I spend studying for this specific topic. Then the third method is more precise, or they try to be more precise, a diary logbook in which you ask a number of students to report how much time they spent. So they write down every day. And then there was another tool we call focus group discussions, in which a small group of students is discussing. And did we do it also with staff? The focus group?
Only students.
Only students.
Only students.
Only students. Thank you. So it's important to get this culture going, to collect the data and discuss it, and reflect how to advance the curriculum. If you see the iceberg, especially under the water, very big in a period, and in other periods, little less, try if you can move assignments that make sense, if it makes sense, around to make the student workload a bit, how do you say, more regular, more doable. But important is to identify which tools you can use, make sense for you, and what formats to use, and how to make it really make it part of the culture. So also we discussed it in the subject area groups at the national level and in national meetings. It's very important because then you really you have to work with it to get a feeling of what it means and how it can work for designing your program. And this discussion might lead to recommendations. Also, in the case of the future. So focusing on the learning of the students, what will be recommended? On one hand, you can look at the inputs from teachers, the content, and on the other hand, we can look also at the outputs from the perspective of the student, as we call it the learning output. And also, it's a question, how much is going to be recognized? Is it the inputs, the contact hours, or are we focusing on student workload? I would advise you to go to student workload. It's just an advice. So we discussed now 2 of the 3 mechanisms. So first, the profile, second, student workload, and now we come to authentic assessment. We check if the students reach the learning outcome. And what's authentic assessment? I think it should be real life contact, real world tasks and activity. And it can be realistic or simulated situations. It's based on performance. And the idea is that students learn how to apply their skills in authentic tasks and projects. And this kind of assessment also requires, I would not say allow, I would say requires to provide feedback to the students. Because students also need to learn to monitor their own performance. Because they have to be lifelong learners. Once they graduate, the teachers, the educators won't be here. You're on your own. And you have to know what you know and what you don't know and where you have to work on. Because in real life, you will encounter situations you've never encountered before during your program. But it might look like some of this kind of situations like real life contact tasks that you do have encountered. But it might be a little bit different. And you have to know how to approach this. Because you're on your own. Your teacher is not there to help you. There might be, of course, how do I say, someone from the staff you can ask. But basically, university students, we want you to be independent. And to be able to also be very critical towards yourself, what you do know and what you don't know, and what you're supposed to learn and how you can approach it. And working with these kind of authentic assessments can help you, help your students to come to that point where you can critically evaluate yourself and know what you know, and be very aware what you don't know. And when you have to do and ask for help. So again, if you want to move towards this authentic assessment, you have to diagnose your current practice. What's going on? How do you assess? Why do you assess the way you do it? And do you want to move into this authentic assessment? You have to make a plan. How to get there? Because not every assessment is necessarily to be authentic. But at the end, I think it might be very helpful for your students if the assessment is authentic. And in medicine, we think it's crucial. Don't recycle. Yeah. In this project, we try to create also inspirational examples of authentic assessment used by others, because you don't have to invent the wheel all by yourself. There are a lot of examples around in the world you can use, slightly adjust, or just might be inspiring you. Let me phrase it that way. And if we work on these 3 measures, I think we will be able to create this Asian network of champions of international. And now we're here, so we want to do it again. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much, Dr. Van Track, for your insightful introduction to the CALOHEA project. I think most of the contents are very related to us as lecturers in our teaching career. So thank you very much. So Next, I would like to invite Mr. Kon Ratanakusum, First Officer and Chief Strategy Officer of the ASEAN University Network, to have his presentation. Mr. Kon is responsible to the Executive Director for overseeing the operational planning and execution of the event activities, and to conduct day-to-day project coordination, planning, implementation, and evaluation across multiple units within the UN Secretariat. So the stage is yours. Thank you.
Good morning again, everyone. My name is Kon, and I'm from the ASEAN University Network Secretariat. As the AUN is the coordinator of this project, and we also share the dissemination activities with the aim to introduce the project to the stakeholders of higher education institutions who are not participating in the project. I'd like to share with you the aspect of dissemination, the project development, and the outputs, and why this project is important to the universities in Vietnam and the ASEAN region as a whole. So before we begin with the details of the project, I'd like to touch on a little bit on the AUN. The AUN established in 1995 when the charter was signed by the ministers responsible for higher education from ASEAN countries, and the ASEAN University Network, or the AUN, is the sectoral body of the ASEAN Secretariat and is working under the Human Development Directorate of the ASEAN Socio-Cultural Community Pillar. We consist of the 30 core member universities in Vietnam, Vietnam National University Hanoi, Vietnam National University of Ho Chi Minh City, and Cần University are 3 of the AUN core member universities. We also have 21 ASEAN Plus 3 member universities from People's Republic of China, South Korea, and Japan. And AUN has 17 thematic networks, including the ASEAN University Network Quality Assurance, or the AUN-QA, which has the biggest number of associate members. And at the moment, the AUN is a network of more than 200 universities across the ASEAN region. Apart from the university networking at the ASEAN region, we also engage with other universities, partners, and intercontinental organizations to drive the education development, keeping in mind the mutual benefits it would bring to the higher education institutions in the region. Just hold on a moment. I think that slide does not change. Yeah. So this CALOHEA project is one of the projects that the ASEAN University Network work with the Tuning Academy International at the University of Groningen to drive the qualification system transformation and to drive also the student mobility in the region. And as you might have already learned from Dr. Anker's presentation, please allow me to provide you with a short recap. That there are three main objectives of the CALOHEA project, which aim to create a region-wide qualifications and assessment reference framework compatible with European frameworks, and the installment of the culture of verifying and taking into account the student workload calculation. And lastly is the promotion of the assessment of program learning outcomes. And as the ultimate aim of this project is to create mobility among the universities within the region, and also the inter-regional mobility between ASEAN and Europe as well. It is important that the project objectives of this project are applied region-wide at the institutional, national, and regional level. And adoption of these recognition mechanisms in the three subject areas by the program, faculties, universities who are not in the project would be the way forward for the mobilities to happen. And in order to bring about the objective of this project into fruition, it is important that all academic staff, university executive, the students, the alumni, the employers, and government agencies to involve and engage in the project in order to achieve and bring about the mobilities at all levels in the region. So why mobility? You may have a question in mind. Why do we need to focus on student mobility, and what is the importance that this would have toward our graduates? In the recent AUN presidential forum, where our president, rectors, and vice chancellors of the member universities came to discuss the current trends in the university in the region. This agenda of mobility was being very extensively discussed. The universities in Southeast Asia are assigned with a role to nurture and develop the graduates who would become workforce in the region. And students must learn to embrace, to understand, and to expose to other disciplines, other countries, other cultures, and other industries as well. And this is critical in helping the graduates to attain a better sense and help them find a footing in this very complex world. And also, why CALOHEA? What does this project have to offer to catch our interest? This CALOHEA project is a project under the Tuning Academy. The Tuning Academy is the International Higher Education and Research Center for the development and enhancement of the quality of learning, teaching, and assessment in higher education, with the focus on the competences for intellectual development, employability, and citizenship in the global context. And in the ASEAN region, in 2016 until 2019, the Tuning Academy carried out this Tuning Asia Southeast project, the former project before this one, introducing the methodology for the design of compatible and comparable degree programs by adapting and restructuring and testing curricula in three subject areas using the European credit transfer system and recognition of degrees. So the world map where the blue color is covered are where the national and regional project utilizing tuning methodology for compatible and comparable degree programs have been carried out. And the tuning methodology has been gaining its footing and is laying out a foundation of mobility to happen at the global scale. And at this moment, the project is carried out in Southeast Asia, South America, and also in Europe as well. And for the ASEAN region, with the aim to promote the regional mobilities. There are a total of 14 national meetings to be held throughout the project. And there are 2 national meetings per country in 7 ASEAN countries. Okay, I think this computer lost connection. Yes. Right. Just hold on one moment. So there are 14 national meetings to be held, and okay. So okay, I think we're back. So there will be 14 national meetings in 7 ASEAN countries, in Cambodia, Indonesia, Laos, PDR, Malaysia, the Philippines, Thailand, and Vietnam. And at this moment, we are already on the second round of this national meeting. And here at Hanoi University of Civil Engineering is our 12th round. So we have still counting from the first until the 10th national meeting. We have a total of 2,276 total participants from 15 countries and from 293 universities. And also 20 government agencies, representatives, 1,652 of them staff, and 158 employers, 446 students participating in these national meetings. So before I end my presentation, please allow me to share with you the potential benefits that this project brings towards the higher education institutions in the region. Even though the ultimate objective of this project is to drive mobility, but what this project has built along the way is that it creates a platform. It is a platform for practitioners from both ASEAN and European partners to exchange knowledge and experiences on the principle of mobility itself, the three recognition mechanisms, enabling them to collaborate and mutually recognize academic degree programs and competencies of each other. This platform also fosters the academic staff joining forces to help each other towards the common degree recognition mechanisms. It is also a platform where ideas and different country contexts are shared, exchanged, and discussed in order to arrive at what would be the best way forward to drive mobility and internationalization in each country. The three recognition mechanisms introduced in the CALOHEA project on the development of the regional framework, the installment of student workload, and the identification of authentic assessment of learning outcomes provide effective learning experiences for our students and for the individual academic instructors. And with the outcomes mutually recognized by ASEAN and global stakeholders, it will allow clearer, better, and more efficient establishment of degree mobility, equivalency, and portability among countries in the ASEAN region, as well as with the ASEAN and the rest of the world. And also the most importantly, the applicability and the process and tools of CALOHEA also may be contextualized and replicated in other disciplines of the university as well. So this project is focusing on the 3 subject areas, but other subject areas can also learn from these tools and mechanisms, and they can also adapt to their programs as well. So right now, what I believe in this project that is driving a change and the impact to widening the possibility of mobilities and connecting people together, and in the end, enhance the internationalization of the universities in Vietnam and also in the region as a whole. So thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kwon, for your presentation. That is actually now we reach the end of our first session, the knowledge sharing session, and now we will have a group photo among all the lecturers and the guests coming with us today. Và sau đây thì chúng ta sẽ chụp ảnh lưu niệm với lại tất cả các quý vị đại biểu có mặt trong ngày hôm nay. Thì nhờ bộ phận kỹ thuật các bạn tắt giúp máy chiếu và nâng màn chiếu để chúng ta có cái phông mọi người có thể đứng chụp ảnh. Phần chụp ảnh thì xin mời các quý vị đại biểu, các thầy cô giáo, chúng ta sẽ chụp ảnh lưu niệm cùng với lại trường chủ nhà. Các bạn sinh viên thì lúc đấy các bạn đã có một cái kiểu ảnh rất là đẹp từ phía trên này, nên là các bạn cứ ngồi theo chỗ là được làm. Okay, so may I invite all the guests and lecturers from different universities to come and take a group photo at the front.
Malaysia. Yeah, Malaysia.
Stand.
Em chuyển cái bàn vào trong đấy nữa rồi. Yeah. Thế thì có cái là hàng mới, một hàng ghế, em ơi cho một hàng ghế vào lên. Được rồi, em chuyển đi ghế. Xong rồi.
Thank you very much. How are you?
Thank you.
Okay, so it looks like everything is set. Yes, no, I will not be presenting the photo. So please look at the cameraman and one, two, three. One more. Thank you.
Okay.
After that, okay.
Oh,
Beli dekat airport lah.
okay. Now we move on to the second session of our meeting in this morning, which is the policy dialogue session. And for this session, we will have the presentation from our distinguished guests. And after that, we have the Q&A session. For this policy dialogue, we will have the presentation, the introduction from Professor Dr. Viet, founder and principal of the University Performance Metric (UPM) rating system and UPM Innovative Institute. Vâng.
Okay, good. My presentation.
So may I invite Professor Wing to have his presentation?
Uh, Very good morning, everyone, and greeting from Vietnam National University, Hanoi. And thank you very much, Dr. Kuhn from the UN, for giving me this opportunity to present my talk. Yeah. My talk, the title of my talk is degree recognition with UPM. But that the first, I would like to title my talk, but after that I put one word more with the turning and UPM, because I'm very happy that I'm very high appreciate the purpose and the motivation of the turning, how to make the comparison between the program, because as all of you know, for the last 10 years, Vietnam have paid many attention for the accreditation. But on this case, we can give the assessment for the minimum condition of the quality assurance. And we cannot give the information how excellent of the program and how excellent of the higher education of Vietnam. So as why the idea of the CALOHEA to make the benchmarking and comparison, the learning outcome and assessment of the learning outcome is very, very important. But I think that the CALOHEA have their approach. But I think that the UPN, we can also have to give you one additional way how to make the comparison between the program. Yeah. So as why the title of my talk is the degree coordinators with the funding and UPM. Yeah. In this my presentation, I only unique willing that the UPM, the one initiative from the Vietnam, from the Ministry of Higher Education of Vietnam, and we would like to act. And I hope that we can participate with the CALOHEA, and CALOHEA together with UPM, we can be together, give a good opportunity, good approach, and even good tool how to make the comparison and benchmarking for the degree for the program between university. It's my aim. Yeah. And now I would like to say you somewhat about the background of this UPM. You know that for the last 10 years, the AUN have created the accreditation culture in whole AUN. Yeah. But even on that, the AUN and the higher education in region still need the best practice, good practice, in order that we can make the benchmarking and find a way how to improving the quality of the program and the university in each country in the AUN. Yeah. And on this case, the Vietnam Act, our initiative that we have already funded by the Ministry of Higher Education, one process how to make the comparison, how to establish the model of the higher education 4.0, and how to measure the quality of the university in the 4.0. So this process is funded by the Ministry of Higher Education and implemented by the researcher in the University of Hanoi. And in particular, we have the very strongly supported from the AUN. So I think that these days, that is a very high academic pandemic peak, and we still organize a meeting with the AUN team to implement this. And also from the Vietnam National University and also the Ministry of Higher Education of Vietnam, we have also strongly supported. And up till now, you see that the UPM have already implemented for more than 100 programs at university in 11 countries, from Brunei, Philippines, Taiwan, Malaysia, Taiwan, and also from United States. So this is very good information that the UPM already have very well recognized in the world. Yeah. The objective of the UPM is not only rating the quality of the university and the progress, and we all know would like to make a tool how to management quality and reputation of the university. So, and with this conference, we would like to add one more function of the UPM that this also UPM can be also one of the tools to be the degree or recognition tool for the comparison of the program between the university. In this case, the UPM methodology, including the first point, is that for the methodology, we have the 8 category and the 52 indicators for the university rating. In that, the core creator of the UPM is the ranking indicator. Besides this, we have some more indicators for the rating that about the so all the information is here, and I would like to say that the idea of the UPM is the combination of the AUN accreditation and ranking. So that's why we made the combination with the ranking indicator and the UPM rating. And in particular, we like to facilitate the 5 core parameters of the UPM that we would like to facilitate the entrepreneurship spirit and innovation, transition, formation, student mobility, and ethical value. So by this way, we would like that all the programs of university, all the 5 core parameters should be included in the learning outcome. So by this way, we can compare the learning outcome of every program, which is the parameter that is very important. So when we look at the data from the ASEAN university, we say that the entrepreneurship and innovation, etc., were implemented for a long time ago. But nowadays in Vietnam, it's still very, very new. So as why I think that by making the comparison and best practice with UPM, so we can learn from the best practice from the AUM. So it's very, very important. The second one, as I already talked to you, so the AUM is combination of the QS ranking and the AUM combination, something like that. So by this way, I would like to say that using the UPM, we can make a comparison that not only the input, but also the output and the impact of the program. That's very important. Yeah. And the third one, the UPM is not one for all. Or we can say that not only unique, one tool and apply for all kind of university and kind of program, but we make the separation between the program and university who are interested in the research oriented or apply program. And also we make the separation with the indicator and the benchmarking point for different disciplines, technology, social science and humanity, education, etc. So as why with the UPM, this tool can fit for every kind of university and every kind of program and every discipline. So So that's why in many universities they have used this UPM as they are very satisfied with using this. Yeah. At the beginning, we start UPM with only the assessment for the university. But after talking with with Dr. Code here and also Dr. Choti from the AUM, he said to us that if we pay attention to UPM for the university, so we can create the opportunity for the comparison between university and facilitate the cooperation between university, and how we can help the school, department, etc. facilitate the cooperation between these one. So as well, after this discussion, we develop also the UPM for assessment of the program. So as why until now, with the UPM, we have the two kinds of the assessment. One for the university and the other for the program. And this is the number of own indicator was indicated here. And as I have already shown to you, we very interested in based on separation between the research and applied, and also the science and building and society. So as why, so all of you, either that you are comprehensive university or technology university and social science something like that, you can apply the UPM for benchmarking and rating your university. Yeah. Up to now, as I already to tell you, there are many universities in the world and the program have been participated to this one. And it's also very nice that for the last time, we have also come here to deliver the certification for the Hanoi University of the Civil Engineering. Yeah. So all these case, this university choose the research-oriented university, and this kind of university is the kind of applied university. So by this one, so they get 4 stars, and the other one they can get the other star. And we recently have based the data for the Nanjing Technical University, the very excellent entrepreneurship university. So they get the 4-star elite, which means that the total point of the UPM is 1,000, and they get already, you see that the point is very, very high. And we get also the experience from the University of Malaya. It's also very, very good university in AOM. And here we also made some assessments of the program. Yeah. So I think you see that some of them are very good in research oriented, and the other one in the green is also the applied intensive, or we can say that teaching intensive program. So that's the way that we have done. Yeah. And I think that the UPM have many selling points, but I like it here, and you can say you can have a look on that. And finally, I would like to say that the UPM can help the university not only to use for management of the quality of the education quality, but with the high quality education quality, they also easily to take UPM as a tool for the reputation management. So it is very important that with UPM, you can give the information for all stakeholders, in particular for the students who can choose your university or not, or you can choose this program or the other one. So, and finally, I would like to express my willing to the others. I hope that we can develop our cooperation and how that CALOHEA and UVM can go to each other and you can help the university and program in the world can improving the quality assurance of all the higher education in the world. So thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much, President, for your insightful presentation and about the UPM system. For the next presentation, please bear with us for 3 minutes so that we can prepare the presentation on the screen. Thank you. So for the next sharing, I would like to invite Assistant Professor Nguyễn Đắc Trung, Director of the International Relations Office, Harvard University of Science and Technology, to have a few sharing points about HUST experience in international relations and accreditation. So please, Associate Professor.
Good morning, everyone. So I'm so happy to be here and share our experience on the international relations in Harvard University of Science and Technology. Because I'm not a member in this project, so it's very interesting for me to understand about this project that you presented for today, especially how can we compare the curriculum, the program, the degree, the workloads of students, the methodology, and learning outcome of students. I think it's very important, very interesting that right now in our university we have interest on this. And so in this occasion, I'd like to share with you about some information about the international relations and international cooperation, the partner in the world. You know about our university, Harvard University of Science and Technology, located not so far from here, nearby Civil Engineering University. Yeah, around 5 minutes to work to reach our university. And so our university is leading university on the fields of science and technology, college in 2056. And so actually right now we have the total nearly 40,000 students. And so 5,000 students in the graduate level, that is a master degree and PhD degree. And so from I remember 1992, 30 years ago, we have the cooperation with the partners also for the transnational education. That means we bought the program from another university from Europe, like in Belgium, France, or Germany, or Russia. We imported these programs to deliver to students directly in Vietnam in our university. And we are launching this program 100% by partner university. And so after that, we built for ourselves the international relations program. And so we make it like joint program, double degree program, dual degree program, go to provide with the partner in the world. I think that's so very important to make. In a long time ago, up to now, we have the total around 20 international programs with a partner in America, England, European, Asia, so many countries in the world. And so up to now, we have the total is 63 programs in the bachelor, 40 programs in the master, and 50 programs in the PhD. And so around 70% is accredited by the UN, CPI, ASEAN organizations. Yeah. We focus upon the international accreditation program because we would like to make to enhance the quality of the education to meet the requirements of international standards. That's so very important for our university. That's the aim of the university. in the next 3 years, we have to accredit all of the bachelor program and master program. Yeah. For the student mobility and for the corporation partners, so you understand about the demands of the corporation partners also play very important in the last 5 years, the last 10 years. Because after credits in Vietnam, so our students join in the international labor markets, they can find a job in America, Europe, or in Asia. Yeah. Therefore, we have to compare with the curriculums, the study programs with a partner in Asia or in over the world. It's also very important for us. So once we compare, once we have the experience of the comparing between our program and the program with the partner, of course, that's Dr. Anna mentioned about the degree, about the models of the program, about the offers of students, organizations of the study, how can we organize the curriculum and design the curriculum for the students, and so how can students study and achieve the learning outcomes at the end. And so how can we measure the learning outcomes of the students, what the students have? And so we focus for the 3 main points, that is so knowledge, that is the personal skill, attitude, responsibility, and competency. That's so very, very important. That's you mentioned, so I think that's so very important for us. So if we compare for the curriculums for the courses, mapping with the program, with the partner, that is not easy to compare because we have another design. So if you understand about the credits in Vietnam for the courses, we measure the credits in Vietnam like how many hours for theory, how many hours for exercise, how many hours for the lab work, and so how many hours for self-study. But that's not easy to calculate and to measure every factor influence in this case. Because our students come to the class, so it's easy to measure how many hours they are in the class. But for the exercise, such we give the assignments, or maybe we give the work, and so the student have to do this and so give us the results or something like that. But that's not easy because we cannot measure everything. Yeah, and so lab work for science and technology programs, that's not easy because the lab work is limited by the facility, by the manpower, by the equipment, and so on. And so in Vietnam, after class, so we cannot measure how many hours the students invest for the preparations, for the homework, for the library, for the collection of the data, or maybe to improve the knowledge in, or maybe competency, or maybe skills in this course. That's not easy. Therefore, we measure for the aims of the courses, for the workloads of the students, and for the learning outcomes. That's so very, very easy to make it. And so in the last 3 days, we have some project with a partner in England for the comparisons between the program in Vietnam and program in England. So at first, we compare how can we build the program. Yeah. So how can we approach this program? Yeah. In Vietnam, for the building of one new program, that's not easy because we have to process in many steps. For the idea of the program, for the collection of the data from whole stakeholder, from the lecture, from the students, former students, company, and so on. Yeah, so many. And so after that, we have the model for the program. And so we put this for the background of knowledge, for the specifications of knowledge, for the project, and for the final thesis, and so on. Yeah. And so we design for the aim of the program, for the learning outcome, for how methodology for the teaching, facility, and so on. I think so. The step for the establish a new program is so very complicated in Vietnam. Yeah. And but of course, how can we run this program? That's so very important. We design this in so each models. In so each courses that we make easy mapping with a partner. So that is so easy to send our students for the mobility program, and so we receive the students from other country in our university to give them the courses, give them the results, and to make the credit recognition or result recognitions and integrated in the program. Yeah. And so right now we have so many learning agreements on mobility students with 100, more than 100 universities in the world. Yeah. Yeah. But of course, we send our students only short term. Short term time means only 3 weeks, 1 month, 3 months, or up to 1 semester. 1 semester is maximum. So short terms, how can we push or maybe encourage our students to join in the courses only 3 weeks or maybe 1 month or 3 months? That's not easy because we have to design or maybe we have to change the curriculum, the short terms design. Yeah, that's not easy. But for the student, normally for the short terms, so we make only internship. Internship, that it means we encourage our students to work together with the professor in the network. Yeah, it's a partner university. For the long term is so 6 months, 1 semester, or maybe more than 1 semester. Yeah. So we select some courses of the partner university program. To push up for our students, they can select this courses, and so they can earn credits from partner university, and so if they get the results, so we can recognize in our program. And so how can we, in this case, how can we cross mapping between the curriculums of the partner university? It's our curriculum. So sometimes you will have the name of the courses is also identified and identical. So yeah, that is the same name, but the content of the courses is totally different. Or maybe the workload of the student is different. Or maybe how can we assess the result or maybe learning outcome of the courses is totally different. Yeah. And so the content of the learning of students is totally different. So many factors. But in this case, we have to work together with the partner university to design the common curriculum for the mobility students. Yeah. And so in this case, so in my experience, so I recommend for your project, if you do some maybe the aim of the project, that is so three pillars, so 3 main subject, I think that's very important. But so if you compare for the aim of the curriculum, the aim of the program, I think that is easy. But if you come more in detail for the model of the study, so I'm not quite sure is how is the models in Holland, in Netherlands, or maybe in Europe. You have 3 years for the bachelor program, 5 years for the engineer program or master program, 3 years for the doctoral degree or the PhD program. But in Vietnam, so many universities like civil engineering or AUSC, Harvard University of Science and Technology, we have 4 years for bachelor program, 5 years for engineer, 5.5 years up to 6 years for the master program, and plus 3 years for the PhD. So study model is totally different. Yeah. And so how many credits how do students finish in one program to recognize or maybe to compare between this country to another country? That is a reference framework play very important role in this case. Yeah, that's of course. And the second, to a lot of students. I think that's not that you have to think about, or maybe you have to collect the data. How can we organize one courses, 1 credits in Vietnam, and so 1 credits or ECTS in Europe? Yeah. In Vietnam, normally 1 credit equivalent to the 1.5 up to 3 ECDS in Europe. Yeah, and so sometimes that's not easy to measure for the self-studying hour of students. Yeah, after class, how many hours students invest for the courses? I'm not quite sure. If you don't give our students homework or maybe push them for preparations for the next time for the next class, maybe they don't think they don't maybe prepare they don't invest anything for the new class for the new lecture. Yeah, okay. And the next that is so the learning outcome. Learning outcome you focus for the maybe for the knowledge, maybe for the personal skills, for the responsibility. But how can we measure? How can we measure? How can we evaluate the learning outcomes? That's not easy because the learning outcomes that is only proposed, only suggestions, only maybe you tell this, you hope this, you push our students to get this result. But at the end, that's not easy. Here, I give an example. If our student gets the results of the end, is maybe very good predicate, very good certificate. But at the end, if they join in the enterprise, but they cannot solve the problem in the enterprise. Yeah. Because they don't have the skills to do this work, they don't have the competencies to solve this problem, but the knowledge, the points or maybe the notes of the student is so very, very good. Yeah. In this case, the learning outcome, I think that's so very, very important. Yeah. So maybe we need to discuss about it. So like Professor Hildur says about the measure for the learning outcome, I think if you have experience, so you can share with us about. So right now we decided on a program, we have the learning outcome, but how can we measure? And so how can we focus? How can we measure which is the learning outcome, which is the aim of the program? We have always problem we face with so many difficulty. Yeah. So many things I try to share with you. I have so many experience sharing with you for today, but so time is limited. So thank you so much for your attention, sir. So in the near future, I try to join for discussions and I try to get the results from your project to apply in our university. So thank you so much again.
Thank you very much, Associate Professor Chung, for your sharing. It was a surprise to us because he came here without prior preparation for the topic, but it is our pleasure that we have such a knowledgeable person to share with us. And especially that the University of Science and Technology is one of the largest technical universities, one of the most prestigious technical universities in Vietnam. So we will have about 15 minutes, 20 minutes for the policy dialogue. This is the open session, which will be hosted by Dr. Anna Maria Van Tract. And I would like to invite Professor Hildur and Associate Professor Chung to join Dr. Van Tract on the stage to have further discussion with the guests about the topics that we have just shared. Okay, so as this session will be hosted by you, so you will be the the entertainer or the MC for the session. You will be the chair. So, I would like to first present you with a question because previously during your presentation there was a question on Zoom. There was one guest from our online participant that want to ask you a question. How can qualitative feedback from students and faculty be incorporated into the assessment of these three mechanisms? The qualitative feedback from the students and faculty, how can they be incorporated in the assessment of the three recognition mechanisms that we have?
Before you answer, so I also would like to put one more question for you. Yeah? One
question.
Okay. What about the participant to the turning from the European University? Yeah. You understand?
Yes. I think I'll try to answer the question from the Zoom first before I answer it. I admit my system is now gone because I'm not sure if I got this question correctly. The Zoom question. So the question was about how can we use the qualitative feedback from students and staff back to these two recognition mechanisms? Okay. First of all, in the first mechanism, I explained developing the assessment reference quality frameworks. In these frameworks, we asked staff to reflect on what we came up with, but also students, graduates, and employers. So I think this kind of feedback is incorporated in the final design of these profiles. Does it make sense? I'm looking at people here. So in that respect, in the first recognition management, it's taken into account. In the second measurement, that was about student workload, we discussed. These discussions cannot go without students. So both students and staff have to be involved in the discussion how to measure student workload. Otherwise, you never ever will get the culture of student workload within your institution. So if we look at the third mechanism, in the assessment, then the authentic assessment, also in that case, students are very creative people. They are very knowledgeable about techniques and all stuff. I don't know. So they can ask students also for feedback in assessment. It's very useful. We sometimes use in assessment, we ask students to come up with a question or an assignment for assessment. So what they think should be assessed after taking this course. And to be honest, the things, if they are really good students, they are very creative, come up with really brilliant assessments, which we actually use in the next assessment. So I hope this answers the question from someone in the internet. I don't know. And now come back to
my question.
Your question. Please repeat.
Yeah.
What was your question?
My question is what about the participant to the CALOHEA from the European University? European University from the Netherlands, from Russia.
What about it? It's a European Union project financed by the European Union. And universities from Europe want to participate because it's, for us, it's also a learning experience. To come to a different region, to learn about the culture of the universities and the things going on. So actually, we're very happy to participate in this project because basically, I don't know who learn more, You or I?
Okay, thank you. So I would like to come back to your answer and also some content from the speech of Dr. Hung about how to measure the achievement of the learning outcome. Yeah. So the question, the answer is always very, very difficult. Yeah. But I would like to add to speech of Dr. Hung that okay, in order to measure the achievement of the learning outcome, we should how to use both the method. First, the direct measurement. That is the score given by the professor for the course. Yeah? And the other is very important that the indirect measurement. We have to make the investment, the answer from the stakeholder. Yeah. So we combine both is the direct measurement and the indirect measurement, and we can get the maybe acceptable answer for the achievement of the learning outcome. This is my experience when I have the one program from United States. They apply participant for the UPM, yeah, and we raised them as a 5-star program, and they also made the rank and how the sub provide the learning outcome assessment in United States. Yeah.
Now I want to give you the opportunity to reflect on your steps.
For the learning outcome, I think that's so very important. Yeah, we understand teaching for our students. The students learn this program, and so after that, after creating this program, they have the ability to join in the labor market. Yeah, that is what they need, what they have to get after learning in the university. That is the knowledge, that is the personal skills, that is responsibility, ability, and competency. Yeah. And so once we think about one student, they get the best result in the university. That is the very good note. But so after that, they come to the enterprise. So maybe they get the job in the enterprise. They have to solve in maybe 1 hour or 2 hours this problem. They can solve this problem, but they need 10 hours. Or maybe they couldn't solve this problem because they have never do the same work before. That means in this case, we need the information from the enterprise, from the stakeholder, and another partner to revise, to change the programs, the curriculums, and the methodology for teaching of the methodology. So how can you revise the program, the learning outcome, maybe change the learning outcome if you get so many information from the stakeholders?
Okay, in this project, we tried to involve stakeholders in designing the learning outcomes, so the data profile and so on. Underneath this profile, we have learning outcomes. And especially, I think you raised a very interesting question, and we are all struggling. It's how to prepare students for the real world. And that's why we also discussed this authentic assessment. Authentic assessment is something you not only develop, like I just told you, with staff and students, but you also can involve stakeholders in authentic assessment. In our case, like when I are in the medical faculties, it's sort of quite easy because a lot of our teaching is done on the work floor in the clinics. So the place where the student will work, they also are in the program. So it might be an opportunity for your programs. I don't know if it's the case to have some workplace experience before graduating. That's one thing. And the second thing is focus on this authentic assessment and involve your stakeholders in designing authentic assessment. And I know I'm from an easy place because my medical doctors are all very close to where my university, I'm in a university medical center. So we teach and we treat and take care of patients. So that's very easy, and it might be different for different subjects. Yeah. Other questions from someone here, present here? Yes.
You say it.
Oh, okay. Great.
First, allow me to introduce myself. My name is Anne from Cambridge University, and thank you very much for the speaker from AUN and also the three speaker. It's very information, a lot of information I learned from the project, also from your presentation. And my question would go to ask Ms. Anne. And on your presentation, the recognition mechanism, I'm really interested in the three recognition mechanism. And for the second recognition mechanism, we say the student workload management, and we have two sections, two parts that we assign the student workload. First would be the contact hours, and the second one is the independent work. It means unseen or hidden that we cannot see, and that's very interesting because I wonder how we conduct the assessment of the of the independent workload of students, and what tool do we use to conduct the assessment? As you mentioned, there are 4 tools on the assessment, including the test of the desk estimation, the end-of semester questionnaire, the diary book, and finally the focus group discussion. So, which tool do we use to assess the student independent work? Thank you.
Thank you for your question. I think it's a very important issue, and probably the students in the back of this lecture will agree with me. Let me tell you a small story. I was once at the Mongolian medical faculty and doing some sort of site visit, and the program was running fine, and all the staff was happy, and blah. And then we met students, and the students were basically working from 7 in the morning to 10 in the night, and didn't have any time left to actually read textbooks. And I think, thinking about that, how can people learn? When do you learn? When do you actually learn? Not listening to me lecturing, but thinking about what I've been telling you. That's actually, then the learning starts. So we have to take into account that learning might not happen at the times we think it happens, but basically afterwards. So that's why students workload and think about when do you actually grasp something. Some people make drawings. So they go to a lecture, go home, make a drawing, to make a picture, rich pictures, or make notes, or do something to apply the knowledge they've been given. And knowledge is only valuable, in my opinion, my personal opinion, if you can apply it. Just knowing, for me, it's nice. But be able to apply and use this knowledge to solve problems or answer questions or innovate or whatever you can think. The second part of your question was, what method do we apply? It's up to you. Just as long as you keep in mind that there is more than lecturing or practicals or whatever kind of face-to-face teaching you present your students. And students have to be able to work on their tasks, do group work, and actually learn together. And then is what's happening. How do you want to measure it? We provided 4 tools. Try them, make sense of them, discuss with others. There is not one answer. Thank you.
But I think that even that we have many independent activity, but for our professor, I think the traditional way is the only way work. That we have to put the homework, exercise, and the process for students, and we have to check on such a kind of program. Yeah, and if we say okay, they are self-independent, something that we cannot control and we cannot measure how to. Okay, so anyway, we have to give the homework, okay, exercise as a process for students, and after that they have submit back, and we have to make assessment. Yeah.
There's one addition, it's not an exact.
No other way.
And it is not an exact science.
Yeah, but
It's not 4 hours and 23 minutes and 60 seconds for every student. So it's a range. And somewhere it should be doable within this range. Some students will take, for instance, 2 hours, some 30 minutes, whatever. But it's a range. And somewhere in the middle might be the truth. Yeah. You're welcome.
okay, we know. Yeah. This question is very interesting, but we cannot apply any solution from European for Vietnam because in European, yes, students are very active and dynamic. Learn long line learning, very easy. But Vietnamese student is quite different. Without homework, yeah, without exercise, so they do not do. That's our.
I'm tempted to go to the back. Because these are very young, responsible people who want to become civil engineers and work in good companies.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I can.
No. I would like to make combinations between the European experience and the Vietnamese tradition. But immediately we change, it doesn't work.
No, that might be possible because you have to grow into such a system. But these are intelligent people. That's why they are at this university. Don't underestimate your students. Trust them.
So I'd like to add some information, some experience from our side. Actually, we understand about the traditional learning methods of students. That it means the students come to the class, they have the contact lecture. Yeah, contact learning is a professor lecture, or maybe assistant, or maybe staff member. After the class, maybe I'm not quite sure. They don't learn actively because they don't understand, or maybe they don't know how can they learn, or maybe how can they have to improve themselves to get new knowledge, or maybe to get the new experience, new skills, or maybe something like that. We can give the homework, we can give the project, we can give the topic for them, push them to go to the library, to work together, to get the knowledge or something like that. Yeah, but I think that is not effective. So effective is that we have to design the curriculum. Yeah, and so we push the student in the class to work actively. Active learning play very important roles. So yeah, they get the knowledge. They think, they have critical thinking, they think about the applications, how can we apply this knowledge, this theory in the practice. They have to find for themselves the example in the practice. And so after that, after the class, they have to do something to improve themselves. Without homework, without exercise, without project, without discussing or something like that. But in the next lecture, the next class, they talk to the professor. I find something new. I try to discuss. I try to share my idea with another classmates or another professors to discuss about one project or maybe one thing that I have got in the last day. So I think that's very important. Design of the program, design of the contents, design of the curriculum. plays very important role. So methodology to teach students. So more important than it gives them so own clock is so very hard. Yeah, this is my experience.
I totally agree with you that the educational method is crucial. In my university, we start in a first method to teach the students how to learn. Because we expect a lot from our students.
But what about experience from you? That you mix over there, micro, micro. Experience from you.
All right. So
What's your view?
yeah, I think from a Malaysian perspective, we do agree with Dr. Anna because for the first few weeks, we teach our students on how to learn. Because we have high expectation on them. So they need to see the curriculum map, how is it from year 1 until year 5, or even until final year. What will be the expectations from them, but different from from a post-secondary school to universities, and how does our curriculum education strategies will different from what they used to be before, and then we tell them what things that you will face from year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4 until the end, and what kind of preparations that they need to be prepared before they embark on the first course in the curriculum. So I think I do agree with that, Anna, and even we teach them how to unload the load. Yeah, because we tell them this is program really taxing your life in a way. So we give strategies how to unload the load so that you can manage yourself better and make time for yourself as well as for academic. And how do you use all these coping strategies to deter whatever stresses that you will encounter because of the time constraint, as well as the demand and pressures that you face throughout the journey to become whatever you are in the field. So I think I do agree with Anna, and it works well because from day one of their entrance in the course, we give them this kind of expectation in how to get through, and we provide also information about where you can get support if you needed to. I think this kind of, a few weeks or maybe at least 2 weeks, give them this kind of, we call it a kind of introduction and orientation to what they are expected to go through. I think this is a kind of sharing from us, but from our experience, it does work at a certain extent, but you need to have a booster, a kind of booster, maybe before they go to the next, a more advanced training. So that's my experience.
Right. So thank you very much for the discussion and for the sharing. Because talking about the time constraints, students have time constraints in their assignments, and we also have time constraints in our meeting program. So it was a fruitful, I think, discussion among our guests and our delegates. And I'd like to send our sincere thanks to your sharing and the session. For now, we will have a short break before we go into the sharing of our faculty as well as our industry from our guests from the industry and our students. We have a 10 minutes break, so tea and coffee is already down below. Please help yourself. We come back in 10 minutes. Thank you very much. Let me show you.
Try your best.
Point. Like I want something hit back. So like for it was like one day, and his name is Noor. And then everybody's like, I was like, so that's the Malaysian perspective. And he even told me was like, you and no Malaysia also.
Bạn xem rồi lại công viên you
Ladies and gentlemen, như các vị đại biểu và các bạn sinh viên, ban tổ chức xin mời quý vị quay trở lại chỗ ngồi, chúng ta quay trở lại tại trường để ta bắt đầu cái phần thứ hai và cái phần cuối của cái buổi sáng ngày hôm nay chúng ta sẽ còn nửa tiếng nữa. So may I invite all the distinguished guests and our students to come back to your seats. And we will start with the second part of our morning. This is the last part of the morning, and we will have about 30 minutes or 40 minutes to go. So I hope that we can keep this part on time so that we can approach our lunch, because it's almost lunch time. For this second part, we will have the sharing of our guests from our faculty, our guests from the industry, and also our students on the challenges of authentic assessment to promote students' mobility, degree recognition, internationalization, and we will discuss about the prospects as well as the challenges during this process.
Yeah, so try to.
Trong phần thứ hai của hội thảo, chúng ta sẽ có cái phần chia sẻ của
doanh nghiệp
như là khách mời gốc của tôi là một trong số những vị tuyển dụng của trường đại học xây dựng Hà Nội, như là bạn sinh viên của nhà trường về các cái chủ điểm liên quan đến trao đổi sinh viên, trao đổi công nhận tín chỉ, công nhận bằng cấp, như là những các cái thách thức, như là hy vọng của các bên liên quan ở trong cái quá trình này. For the first sharing, I would like to introduce Ms. Phạm Nguyễn Vân Phương. She is currently our Deputy Director of the Department of Quality Assurance. She is also one of the members of our CALOHEA project team. And she will have a sharing on the perspective of our lecturers and our administrators.
It's my honor to be here
will speak about my views, my opinion about the student mobility, degree recognition, internationalization, and industry ready graduates. So let me go first with some introduction about my university. So actually, I'm a lecturer of the Department of Construction, Technology and Management. So that belongs to the Faculty of Industrial and Building Construction. And I am also responsible for doing some class in quality assurance in the Department of Integration Testing and Quality Assurance. So go to the first part. I want to just introduce briefly about my university. So as you can see on the screen, my university was founded in 1966. So we have the 50 years of established. But in training, we have more than 67 years in training. So for 10 years ago, so we also a department of the FUSD. So that's why we have that number. The mission at UC are change high quality human resource to conduct scientific research, develop technology and transfer knowledge, and also to contribute to the sustainable development of society and the countries. We have the core values focused on responsibility, quality, and quality and efficiency. And we have two campus, one in Hanoi and one in Hanam. So for the campus, Hanoi also you can look around. So that is front area. So it's about 39,000 square meters. And for the Hanam, we have the bigger one. So the area is about 223 square meters. For the staff, so in general speaking, the total number is more than 1,000 staff. So we have nearly 3,000 administrative staff, and also we have 763 academic staff. And the percentage of doctoral in the university is accounted for 40%. So all the staff work, teach, and do their research in 18 administrative departments, 15 academic faculties, 16 research institutes, and we are proud to have 30 laboratories and workshops. And we also have one consultant company to work with the private enterprise and other agencies from state. So we serve for the nearly 20,000 undergraduate students, and for the master students we have currently we have 1,000 master students, and for the PhD, so we have 150. For training program, so at this moment we deliver the undergraduate program with the number of 56, and for the master degree we have 23, and for the PhD degree it's 14. For the local and international cooperation, so that's the activity we do a lot during the years from a senior as the established. And until now, because of the COVID-19, but we still keep the relationship with the local and international organization. And you can see here I put on the screen some active partners of the university at this moment. And for the international, we also have nearly 2,000 MOU with university, institute, and other organizations all over the world. And now I move to the main part I want to share with you about how AUC in my in the academic staff point of view in promoting student mobility, degree recognition, international relation, and industry ready graduates. So you can see on the screen. So I put, generally speaking, we had 8 actions. So the first one, we try to enhance the capacity of staff by training and lecturer exchange program. So you can see on the chart here, during the 2019 to 2022, so the number of UHC staff on short or long stay abroad, so the number is nearly 300. But because of the COVID-19, but we try to do more, to send the lecturer and also send lecturer for the training. And also in Vietnam, we do some domestic training. So the university organized 19 training programs for the 1,015 participants. And we also encourage staff to do further education. So we have a number of 18 staff that continue to do their further education. And here, the second action, we establish new training program according to the new approach such as the PDIO, and we compare and try to meet the industry needs. So you can see on the list here that the 15 training program we do that's new one we do in the last 5 years, and the admission, the student actual study in this program now increasing. The trend is growing. And we also deliver the undergraduate program in English and French. So now until now we have 8 programs, and also the number of total students in this program also increased. In our factories, the total number they in program in English and French, and also the CDL program is now accounted for 30% of the total. Third action. So parallel with design a new program to meet the industry needs and labor market. So we also revise existing training program and also models based on the stakeholder needs and feedback. We have a system, online system, to collect the feedback from students, from the enterprise, from the academic staff, and also administrative staff to get their feedback to try to make the actions to enhance the quality of program and also models. And on the screen, you can see here that the chart to show you our new HUC model of training. And the same as the course, so we also offer the bachelor's for the 4 years. And after that, they have 1 to 2 years to study more to get the master degree and also an engineer degree. And after that, they can go to the doctor. And the chart on the left, so you can see the 2 charts. So the first, the chart below, so that the percentage of students after 1 year's graduate they got a job. So the total percentage they got a job in the for the university is 94%. So that's very new data we got from the students that graduate in 2000 and 2020 and 2021. And on the top, that's the pie chart. So you can see we also follow and see the chance of the student they got job in a different area. So you can see the most of them they got the job in the private enterprise. So that means that when you design a training program, when you design a new one, you need the feedback the most from the enterprise. that's what some things we focus on now to deliver the new and revise this. The four actions is about the strength of the local network among the higher education institute and educational organizations. Until now, we also signed an MOU with some university, focus more on technical university because our university is civil engineering. So we have four forming group from the 5 years during five years. And the first one, you can see that the group of four technical university that exchange credit. That's the first group in Vietnam. So they get MOU and agree that they can exchange the students between four. And we also a member of PNIEB group. That's the group. So we have collaborated with the university in France. And group of 7 technical university. The MOU is a comprehensive cooperation in all activities. And the group of 5 sales chain technical universities, so AGC and the leader. And the five action. Okay, so we try to exchange strengthen the international network. Okay, for the international, we pay attention, but we also pay attention to reinforce the network with the international organization. And you can see here that I put just some international organization. That's the active one. So the result of the collaboration we have now, not only to make the conference, not only to do the projects, so we also focus on students. We deliver the 4 high quality engineering programs, the 8 undergraduate program in English and French, as I said before, and 9 international joint credit transfer under a grant with university, BCCP, America, and Saitama, and also the Huddersfield in construction management in technology, how to say, computers information, computer science, and also civil engineering. And we also have an international credit transfer joint for postgraduate and doctoral program. And the next action, we try today diversify mode of transfer, follow the international credit transfer, project-based summer course. So for the the state of from the 10 years ago. So you can see the chart. So we have numbers of countries. We send our students, and also we have the coming students from these countries as well. 7 actions. So we try to reinforce and expand collaboration with the industry enterprise and authority in training and also research. And for the last one, that how to say that the actions, that activity we need to do in this next few years that to get the accreditations of our educational program and also for the institute. So until now, we got this season of accreditation from the country and also the CTI, but we try to do to cooperate with the other accredited partners to see how the quality system of the university work and also get their comment to improve the quality of the university. So that's the 8 action. And now I move to the focus and challenge from the view of academic in terms of this perspective. And for the perspective, so I think a student will be degree recognition, international industry ranking graduates are inevitable chance. higher education due to the growing phenomenon of globalization and international process. And also, this change motivates academic staff to change their attitudes and be more active in handling their capacity regarding not only knowledge, but also teaching methods, the curriculum design approach, and even the relevant practical professional skill. They need to build up their professional skill to meet the requirement from the, the technologies are changed now. But we have a lot of challenges. The first thing I put here, that's challenge from the labor document. So in Vietnam, when we design the new program, you need based on the law. You need based on the degree. So we have degree 99 is very important for the institute, but also for our program. And these seasons are to regulate the Vietnamese qualification framework. And also this plan for implement the Vietnamese qualification framework. And now we have the circular number 17 by the ministry to give us the standards for the program. So we need to follow that own document, but it's not the last, so we have more. And also when you design for program to can give the student mobility and give them to the international countries. So you need also compare with the national countries qualification framework and also the laws. So a lot of things you need to come with. And the second challenge is about the additional workload of academic staff. So in our university, lecturers not only teach the existing education program, they also do the revise. That the main members do the revise training program. And also they learn the new approach to make the new program to meet the industry need. So a lot of knowledge, a lot of skills they need to learn and build the new one, the revised existing one. So that's a very, very heavy work. And challenge come from the lack of facility and infrastructure that are sufficient to conduct more intense, authentic assessment at school. So our university is a civil engineering. We offer the student a lot of technical meeting project and technical authentic assessment, but it's not at the real scale, at the small scale. So we want to do more intense, but we don't have equipment. So that means I have the next challenge here. The challenge comes from the lack of policy that allow enterprise to participate with academic staff in co-teaching any models of training program, not only industry. But we don't have any policy. So when we design training program, we don't know how to do. Okay, for the enterprise, they willing to do with us, to go teach with us, but we don't have policy to do that. So, okay, so just deliver the training program and the academic staff and as a main member. So that's all about my opinion. Thank you for listening. And if you have any questions.
You, Mr. Super, for your sharing. For the next presentation, it will be one of our honored guests today. I'd like to present Mr. Trần Đức Lân. He is currently the director of VSL Vietnam. VSL Vietnam is one of the prestigious consultants in civil engineering in Vietnam, and one of our long-term partners. He is also one of our alumni in the university, so look forward to hearing his perspective from the industry, our customers' perspective. So I'd like to introduce Stella. Okay. Okay. Hello, everybody. Actually, now it's lunch time already, so I will speed up my presentation. A boy from the market, all the picture here. So first, I'd like to briefly introduce Viet. Okay, so we are specifically doing construction and repair, post strengthening and cable stay structure, foundation, and ground engineering. So we have 4 domains of each expertise. In post strengthening and stay cable, in civil engineering, in ground engineering, in asset preservation, structure repair, and upgrade. We founded in Switzerland in 1956, and then we belong to Viet Group, one of the biggest French construction company in 1990, and we start business in Vietnam from 1993, and we have been making a lot of contribution to construction industry, and so involve a lot into many major projects in building, industrial, in bridges and tunnels. So we have 3 pilot in strong pilot in design engineering, in property system and technologies, and project execution that help us to succeed in not only in new structure but also in repair of the existing structure. This is our company in the world, and especially in many products like ground anchor, ESO, bridges, buildings, secondary formwork system, heavy lifting, repair and strengthening, and structure diagnostic and monitoring. Okay, so for new graduates, actually, what important here, especially for engineering industry, is not only technical skill from what you learn at university, but also other soft skill, interaction and communication skill, teamwork skill, adaptability, fit into the group, fit into the organization. And frankly speaking, in Vietnam, especially in engineering university, the soft skills that what we need to focus to improve. Teamwork as well. A lot of students graduate when we interview
they don't really, they lack a lot of communication skills. They don't know how to do the introduce themselves, what they want to sell to the enterprise. They come to a company, they don't know how to write the application letter properly, nicely, interesting, and during interview, they don't know how to sell. They don't know how to sell themselves, and they need a lot more soft skills in communication. And English, foreign languages, English or French, for example, be able to communicate in a foreign language. As you already know that we are in the open world, and just last month I just interviewed some graduates, and when I asked them to interview in English, they cannot do it. So that is really a big problem for graduates, and how they open the door to the market without foreign languages. Social and research activity or participate project achievement applied. What I realized that during the Viet that there's not much activity, especially social activity. They contribute or participate during at the university, and in fact through the project or social activity they can learn a lot, and it's really they can build a lot, improve a lot of their skills. Internship experience, we value the experience students get through internship, where we get the sense of what it's like to be on the job in a running business, forced to face real situation, hence learn meaningful lessons. So annually we have internship program with the university, and we ask them to do the real job. We send them to different departments to the site and work with the site team. So they learn by the real work. So, and by doing that, we know who is really a good student or not. And of course, academic transcript issued by the university is important, of course. But okay, that is not everything. Academic transcripts demonstrate the student long-term effort, learning ability, and ability to absorb knowledge. Academic transcripts with first and distinction will be considered first for interview, of course. But as I said, social activity is very important for them and for their university life. Research project with practical application. That's also very interesting for us. And because we have a lot of projects, we need them to research with us later during after graduate. And for us, teaching in foreign countries, working with foreign environments are very good opportunity for students to acquire foreign thinking and teamwork, another working skill. So we really think that you need to improve in each student during student life. Now and confidently communicate in English and French. Example is already considered advantage working for us or other foreign country. Here, working here, imagine having foreign exchange experience. So, of course, globalization within within reach for newly graduates. For us in Viet, a Swiss company and also belong to Viet group that many opportunities and of course open for students who already have experience working or in exchange program. So we also give priority for those students higher opportunity to work for us, and in order to send our staff to work in other PC in group. So for time being, we have about 10 staff working in UK, in Malaysia, in Singapore, in group, and also the teamwork in our company now working together with the technical center in Singapore, in Hong Kong, and in Switzerland for many projects, not only in Vietnam but also in other countries. So we need that kind of the student who has experience working in international environment. And of course, we also need to consider the transcript that evaluated equally or the same and in an international platform. So that's like CALOHEA is, I think, is one of the that we are going to achieve. Okay, so yeah, again, soft skill and also basic IT application skill, and so that required for course that required for of course required for graduates that we are looking for. So we have been cooperating with different university during their university life, and also support internship by internship program or some sponsorship in future, or participate in evaluating committee at final projects. So yeah, the uniformity in the evaluation system across university, I think it's very important that you are working on, and we are quite happy with that. And also develop and promote student mobility. Yeah, as I said that during teaching program or internship program, then students get knowledge in working in international environment and improve their skill. That could have them have more opportunity to work for us or in international environment later on and succeed in their future. Okay, so that is some opinion from the market that can have. Thank you.
That is one of the opinions from our customers. we are the ones to provide the students, and they are the ones to recruit our students. So hopefully it show some insights to our perspective. For the last presentation of today, I would like to proudly present one of our students from the University of Civil Engineering, Mr. Chen Minh Quân, to present his presentation.
I'm from Malaysia. Yeah, they have a lot of work in my life.
About the authentic assessment to promote student mobility. This is the first time when I come to Japan, and everything in Japan is privacy. And the first thing make me surprised is about the personal experience. The first one is my accommodations. As you can see in the pictures, the area of my room in the homestay is approximately 10 square meters, but it still have the fully functions, the bed, the bath, and even the table for studying. And the Japan is famous about the transport system. In the Tokyo, there are a lot of taxis, but it's still expensive. And if you want to train by bus, you need to prepare a long time to go. Therefore, the subway system has become the most popular transportation for the Japanese people. And in a major city like Tokyo, Osaka, and Kyoto, they have an intensive subway system. And this is the reason why the population in the Tokyo is about 40 million people. But I cannot see the traffic congestions, and I cannot see the air pollution in here. And also, I really admire about the perception of the Japanese people when I can walk on the road. I cannot see the waste, and the street also clean. Moving on, the social life in the Japan, the local people in here is also friendly, sociable, and polite. And the local food is also delicious and affordable, such as the sushi and the sashimi. And let me give you an example. When I go to the sushi restaurant and I pay the bill, I'm surprised because it really is cheaper so much than my country. And in Japan, there are a lot of entertainment zones, Disneyland, Tokyo Dome cities, the shopping center, outlet, Aeon, and particularly is about the grocery store, the Family Mart, 7-Eleven, with active full-time day to serve the citizens. And after the nerve-wracking days in my universities, I have a cheap day to go to the prestigious destinations in the Japan. This is the pictures when I set my foot in the Fuji Mountain and when I go to the top of the Tokyo Skytree. Not only in the living environment, but also studying environment make me very impressive. When I came to the Japan, I have a chance to study in the Shibora Institute of Technologies. The Greek name is SIT University. And I'm very unexpected because the infrastructure in here is modern and the cutting edge, the technology system. And beside that, they have some more the recreational areas to like the gym, basketball course. Therefore, the student can not only learn the knowledge, but also they can develop their physical. And you can see the landscape of the universities. This is the inside and the outside surround the university. It's also very good looking that the student can have the gorgeous the picture and they can find the inspiration if they run out of the idea in the study. In the next part, I will mention about the difference in student evaluations between the Japan and Vietnam. In Vietnam, we mainly focus on the taking either exams and doing the mini project. Let's talk a little bit about the mini project. About the mini project, the student like me will given the topic from my lectures, and you can see in the picture the student work directly with the lectures every 2 weeks, maybe 1 week to check their progress. And in the final examinations, they will have the oral examinations with their lecturers. Therefore, the student need to prepare the knowledge synthesis and in-depth assessment before taking the oral examinations. And also the writing exam will have the student to improve the writing and the research skill. But everything has the both merit and demerit. And also the method in Vietnam has the disadvantages when the student can the risk of the cheating, of the copying, or the performance. And also the grader need more time to consider, to check before the marking the student performance. Regarding to the assessment method in the Japan, the educator in the Japan promotes the Japanese student practice in laboratories and also doing the mini project. But the difference between the mini project in Vietnam and Japan is also the Japanese student will do the mini project by doing teamwork. And in the final examinations, they will have the presentations. Therefore, it will have the Japanese student improve their interpersonal and the communication skill. And also when they practice in the laboratories, they can hands-on learning or more to be the creative and innovative. But the disadvantage of the method is about the time consuming and they need a huge resource which may not be available in the laboratory. And also it maybe depends on the subjectivity in evaluations where they have the presentations. Therefore, I think the assessment criteria in Vietnam ensure the fairness when the student isolatedly work and they need to summarize the knowledge and take the oral exam alone directly with the lecturers, and therefore the lecturer can easily evaluate the ability of the student, and then the ability of the student deserve to have a recognition from the educators. But in the Japan, the educator not only focus on the developing the knowledge and understanding, but also they want the Japanese people improve about the soft skill like the self management, communications, and interpersonal skill. In the final part, I will mention about my personal aspirations. The first one, I hope that the university from around the world can promote student mobilities. Because as you can see in the picture, it is the two project student mobility that I have chance to participate in. And after that, I feel that it helped me a lot to broaden my horizons, to improve my communications and interpersonal skill when I make a slide and when I present it in front of many people like this. And also I can have a chance to make the new friends. You can see in the picture, this is my new Japanese friend. His name is Takenishi, and he helped me a lot to make my presentations today. And I think under the benefits of the student mobility, the educator should consider to have the recognition degrees and qualification between many universities from the world, because it will encourage the student to engage in some activities of the exchanging credit to the foreign country. And beside that, it will have the student to create more opportunity to study in the foreign country. So finally, I want to say that I want to thank the administrators of the Hanoi University of Civil Engineering are conducive for me to stay in here and talk about my opinion. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your presentation. It was well done, I think, on the perspective of our students. One of the students that have done the exchange programs. And as of the remaining time of the meeting today, we have some time for Q&A. If you have questions to our presenters, Mr. Phương, Mr. Lân, and Mr. Trần Quân. If you have any questions, you can ask them now. Yeah. From the audience. May I invite the three of you to come to the front stage so that it is easier for you to answer the questions if there is any from the audience. Oh.
Yes, I see a question. But no, use it. But first of all, let me thank you for this very interesting talks about your experiences, your knowledge, your inspiration. And I think you can have your
Thank you all for the presentation. I'm Andrea from Institute of Technology of Cambodia. I'm receiving some question related to the student mobility. So my question is how often the student mobility can be organized between your university and Japanese university? And for that mobility, or who support and the financial issue for that mobility?
So basically, two questions, I think. And I think I give the microphone.
So for student mobility, we need to get a partner from Japan. But we have a very close relationship with the Japan university, for example, Saitama, and some other ones. So we just talk with them and ask them about the opportunity for students to get a summer course. So that's the program when came to the Japan in the summer course. So just ask them, and we do something to design the program and the finance. So part is from the partner, the sponsor for other students and some from the one. So maybe if you can talk more about the finance for that school.
When I came to the Japan, the SIT University will support me with maybe a little bit of money. But and beside that, I will prepare the money from my family. But also, I think this is about the connect between the universities and the individuals. If you want for, especially if the excellent student have the full conditions, the student at the school or the university should have the solutions to follow the totally for the supporting the student to study foreign, because I think they deserve for this. Yeah.
I think I agree with you. Is there a national fund in Vietnam to support students' mobility? It's a question. No? No one else? Really?
The fund to support the student, it depends on the partner and it depends on the budget of the university. Yeah, it depends.
Yeah.
I can say what for the Japan. So we have fellows recently. So they give us a lot of scholarships for master degree, for postdoc degree, for the doctoral degree. But for course, for the course like summer course, just a short semester or a short time. So it depends.
Question to you, because you support sometimes student and mobility programs, and I can understand how it's.
Yeah, I think that that is the relation between, for example, Hanoi with University of Civil has international relation, have their network with other universities in Japan, in France, and in other countries. And by such close relation, then you got the annual sponsorship for some program in order to send students to Japan, to France, to other countries, right? And to support them in several years study there. Yeah. That's from my understanding that you have been creating such kind of network and sponsorship to the student, right? And from us, we of course we also have a close relation with the several universities and sponsor for some scholarship, okay, to some talented students, okay, and also contributing to some program and also final project or internship also. Okay.
I think we have time for one question. I am looking at you. You're the most responsible.
For the student mobility, I think that we have difficulties not only the financial program, but also the credit transfer. Following my observation, that all of the student mobility always graduate later than their classmates. So that's problem. Yeah.
So could you reflect on that? Since you gained a lot of skills, I think, during your stay abroad. And was there credit transfer or?
Credit transfer.
Yes.
Yes, I think it makes sense. But this is the reasons why I have my presentations today. because I want to the university worldwide choose recognition degrees, qualifications, and then I can save my time. When I study abroad, for example, when I study abroad in Japan, and when I turn back to my country, I can spend my time to learn all the things instead of studying the same things and the same subject. So yes, this is the one thing I really want the educator should consider. And but also your opinion, I think it depends on the student abilities. It depends on the time, the period they study in the foreign country. For example, with me, I study in Japan in the short term. So I think I can control my time to complete the course on time. Thank you.
I understand the problem, and you said, I believe my student, his name is Kwan. He joined the exchange program with Belarus. He went to the Poland for 1 year exchange, and he come back, and he graduated later 1 year and his classmate. So that problem you need to explain to students before they actually come to the program. Because at this moment, that's a very difficult to us to address this problem, because we know that the education system within the Poland and the Vietnam, and especially for the university, we don't have any the same platform actually. So you try to give them our efforts to make the credit transfer suitable and bring benefit the most for him. But I think the different it should be get the central platform, and that's the problem of the system education system. That's my opinion.
And may I add one thing?
Norhal Dilan from UTM. And when students talk about opportunities to do exchange students, the first thing come up in their mind is I need to extend my study. This project, CALOHEA, when we introduce this framework, we try to standardize the way university in ASEAN designing their curriculum. Why? So that we can permit greater comparability. Everybody can recognize each other, so that when your student coming to Malaysia, for instance, they don't need to extend their field study, because everything has been standardized from 3 aspects: learning outcome, the way we assign credit to each course, and the way we assess the student. This is the vision of this project. And secondly, why do we need to improve student mobility among ASEAN? I went to Cambodia, Indonesia, even Malaysia. When we talk about student mobility, Japan, Korea, and Europe. To me, the future generations of ASEAN need to embrace better ASEAN spirit than our generation, because the prosperity of ASEAN lies on good relationship between ASEAN countries. So that's why this project tries to improve student mobility, so that this future generation knows each other, their friend within this region, much better than our generation. Because we share the same culture, the similar texture of foods, the palate, the taste. The language is different, but we are actually from the same region. So this is the main point of this project. We try to standardize the way we design curriculum by producing generic reference framework. This is what we have been doing since 2017 through 2 different projects, TASE and CALOHEA, because I would like to see in the future more Vietnam students coming to Malaysia, Malaysia coming to Vietnam, Vietnam to Indonesia. You know why?
Like my university now,
Credit transfer.
we need to revise our curriculum because we can no longer provide train students to work in Malaysia. In the future, Vietnam company will have their branch in Malaysia, Malaysia company in Singapore or in Brunei. So every single higher learning institution in ASEAN need to prepare the students so that they have the vision to work not only in their own country, but in other ASEAN countries. Yes. So that's the vision of this project. Thank you.
Yeah, I'd like to add to that point that I fully agree with you. And actually, in my company, we have Viet Academy based in Bangkok and another one in Portugal. So every staff at different level, we have different section to train and the people is coming from Vietnam or coming from Switzerland or other country, or depending on different level, come to the academy and have the same training sections and learn together, share experience, and know how to work together. And when they come to project, it doesn't matter in Vietnam or in Singapore, in Hong Kong, in other countries, you can work together.
Yes.
Okay, so the university, I think, need to be the same. I fully agree with you that now you need a platform, okay? Then you can send the student in the second year or third year or fourth year in Vietnam or in Singapore or in Hong Kong. You don't need to extend the study because it should be standardized, same platform, and then our student after graduation can work everywhere. And now we are doing like that, and we send our staff, okay? Vietnamese engineer and capable to work in UK, in France, in Hong Kong, in other countries. So we expect that we don't need academy anymore, but the academy, not just academy, but academy here. Then we can, after graduation, we can send them everywhere. Not us have to do training and retraining. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you for your contribution, and thank you for this excellent, how to say, advertisement for this project. One last question. A remark. Yeah, hello, my name is Kiamaris. I'm from National University of Laos, and I would like to share some ideas. I think we are facing same problem as Ms. Bill has mentioned before. In my case, with our case also, we have a student from our universities. They are in a mobility program under Erasmus program in Portugal. Then also he has to extend at least 1 year, but we try our best to synchronize and also to help him. So we made it in 1 semester extend. That is the solution. So we find out how what we have done before in Portugal and what we have in Laos. So we try to minimize the time to extend for him. That is one case. And another case, we also have a cooperation with Viet University in Vietnam that we extend Vietnamese students to do a practicum in Laos, and also we also try to send our students to Viet University for teacher practicums. There's also a case of we are not extend any time for them because before we running a program, we come here to we cooperate with each other that what the standardized we have between two countries. So we exchange and we add some more for the course so that the student make sure the student don't need to extend their study. In that case, also successful project with Vietnamese. Yeah, thank you.
I also would like to add one more point that actually is and I believe everyone here know about the many Vietnamese in school, high school here, that they send students grade 11 or grade 12 to study in US or in other countries.
Yeah. So they call international education program here. Okay, so combining with local system and American system, so they can send the grade 11 or grade 12 to study in US, and then they can apply to any university in US. So why our children, okay, our high school can do such, and university level we cannot do. Something we need to think about, right? Yeah, okay. I know. But yeah, if we think we can do, then we will do. But if we don't think that we cannot do, we think that we cannot do, then we never can do.
I think this project that we and the discussions we're starting here will help us to recognize and think about opportunities and possibilities to get some sort of credit transfer. And I'm from Europe, and perhaps it sounds very easy credit transfer in Europe because we have Erasmus and the European credit transfer system, but it took us a while to get there. It took us a long time to really appreciate each other's program and trust, because basically it's about trust. You have to trust that you teach or the education is in a way that aligns with your things, your thinking about teaching. So it's basically about trust between the higher education institutions. And I think these kind of meetings will help us to build this trusting network. I think I have to hand over now because it's done. Thank you for this great contribution.
Thank you all for your sharing and very insightful sessions. I think we have a very productive morning up until now. It's now 12:30, and I am glad to announce that it's finally lunchtime. So before lunchtime, I would like to have a few announcements. The first one is that the program for this afternoon, it will be another building just adjacent, and we will have guides to take all of you to the location. The 3 rooms here will also be hybrid. We will be both offline and online. And the meeting ID is over here. You can take a photo if you want to later get into the relevant subject area group. And another announcement that I would like to make is that everyone, after attending this meeting, we would like to ask for your submission for your opinion of the meeting, as well as so that will be in the form of a survey, a short survey by UN, and this is the QR code for the survey, so you can scan that with your phone to do it. And after you finish doing the evaluation, everyone will have a certificate from the ASEAN University Network sent to your email. The survey will be in the afternoon. Cái announcement này rất là sẽ sử dụng cả tiếng Anh để thực hiện. Các bạn sinh viên sẽ nắm được luôn, sẽ sẽ nghe lúc này chiều các bạn cùng có thể nắm được. Buổi chiều hôm nay chúng ta sẽ có 3 phòng với lại cả 3 cái subject area group, thì các bạn có thể tham gia vào bất kỳ phòng nào cũng được. Và các bạn sẽ làm quyết định cái survey sau khi mà các bạn tham gia vào cái hội này. Khi mà các bạn điền xong survey ngắn của mạng lưới Đại học Đông Á, thì tất cả mọi người, kể cả các thầy cô, các khách mời ở đây cũng như các bạn sinh viên sẽ có cái chỉ có cái chứng nhận tham gia thế nào. Thì cái chứng nhận này nó cũng sẽ là một cái một cái chứng nhận để mà các bạn sinh viên có thể đưa vào trong hồ sơ để sau các bạn đi xin việc hay là các bạn đi làm hồ sơ đi nước ngoài cả, thì tất cả các chứng chỉ này các bạn tham gia các hoạt khóa sẽ rất là có lợi cho hồ sơ của các bạn. Thì đấy là một số thông tin, cái thông tin của cái cơ quan này sẽ gửi qua các bạn trả lời trước. Cảm ơn. So it's finally lunchtime. Lunch boxes are presented at the back of the room, and you have to be here in the room so that we do not have to. Các bạn chỉ là cái cách các bạn có buổi chiều ra là cảm ơn các bạn đã xem xong rất là cảm ơn các bạn.
Okay, see you again. See you again.
Thank you very much.